Second one, would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear and I said no.
Perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Secondly, his son, Hunter, is also up for being sentenced next month. Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentence for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to another live with the conservative poet, aka me, Amania. And I am actually happy that you're here. So this is day 2 of us doing our live streams, and I'm actually very excited for bringing this to the channel. I've been actually wanting to do it for a while, but circumstances has kept me at bay. But I'm actually excited to get started with these live streams. So happy Tuesday to you. I have one person here. Hello, friend. Hopefully you're having a good morning. I'll put the comments up in case you want to chat. Okay. So, yes, so it's a great day. Now, yesterday's live stream, we talked a little bit about Kash Patel, and we covered just a little bit. Hi, George, good morning. We covered, well, George, you know what happened yesterday. We covered Kash Patel. We covered a little bit of the Hunter Biden situation. But today we're going to go a little bit more in depth because I think because this thing has really blown up, all sides are talking about this. And it seems that the Democrats aren't so happy with old Joe. And so we're going to go a little bit more in depth with that idea of what's happening with Hunter Biden. So I also have a very special funnies clip. I think I like the idea of starting off with lighthearted before I give you the hammer. And so what I'd like to do now is just tell you really quickly, we do have our super chats if you want to help out with the channel with that. And you get a bell. That's all I got. This is old school. And also yesterday when I played President Trump's bobbing head, I noticed after I went to replay that I didn't hear it very loudly. So I'm going to play it now and y'all let me know if you can hear that.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.
He says that I will be the greatest president that God ever created. Donald J. Trump. Is he psychic? Does he know that he is the greatest president that God has ever created? Obviously, Lincoln freeing the slaves, have to throw that in. But yeah, let's play it again. Because
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.
I love it. I love it. So there's 5 different sayings that he has in here. So anyway, we're going to get into our parody. That Karine Jean-Pierre clip I just played, that wasn't the parody, even though that was parody. But we're going to play an old parody that I kind of found, and I want to, again, start it lighthearted before we get into the dramas of this, this current society that we're in. All right, here we go.
Jab. lands. This land is your land. This land is my land. I'm a Texas tiger. You're a liberal wiener. I'm a great crusader. You're a Herman Munster. This land will surely vote for me.
This land is your land, this land is my land. I'm an intellectual, you're a stupid dumbass. I'm a Purple Heart winner, and yes, it's true, I won it thrice. This land will surely vote for me.
You have more waffles than a house of pancakes. You offer flip-flops, I offer tax breaks. You're a UN pussy, and yes, it's true that I kick ass. Ha! This land will surely vote for me.
You can't say nuclear, that really scares me. Sometimes a brain can come in quite handy, but it's not gonna help you, because I won 3 Purple Hearts. This land will surely vote for me.
You're a liberal sissy.
You're a right-wing nut job.
You're a pinko commie.
You're dumb as a doorknob.
Hey, you got that Botox.
But I still won 3 Purple Hearts. This land will surely vote for me.
This land was my land.
But now it's our land.
From California to the New York Island. What'd I do?
From the liberal wieners
To the right-wing nut jobs.
this land belongs.
This land belongs.
This land belongs to you and me.
Yeah.
Yo, that was so funny. I enjoyed those things. I'd never seen them before. If you know, I was not really into politics like that back then. So all of these things, this is like new to me. So we're gonna have fun. We're gonna look at old things, historic things, and we're just gonna have a little fun. So I thought that was hilarious. And if you notice at the end, they were hugging, right? Bipartisan. Isn't that lovely? They came together. This land is made for you and me and all of us. And we just have to love it or leave it. Or love it or leave it. Okay. So, you know what? I just thought about it and I didn't even pull that clip just because I just said that. You can love it or leave it. So, Ellen DeGeneres, right? She left the country after President Trump won. I didn't know this. Like, I see memes and stuff online and I'm thinking, oh, these people are kidding. Like, they're playing around. Like, why would you really leave? Like, that's stupid. And so she left America, y'all. She went to, I think, the UK. And she moved there I guess she's now about 3 weeks in. And would you believe her property was flooded? She fled America because she's afraid of Donald Trump. And she ended up in a place where her property was flooded. I don't know. Karma? Like, people are literally walking across this border to get to America, right? And the privileged ones are saying, you know what? To hell with America. Well, you know what? I said to Ellen DeGeneres, Ellen DeGeneres. God help me. So I say to her and all of her celebrity colleagues that y'all go. No need to come back. Y'all don't have to come and visit. We don't want you. You go out there, you live in the UK, you live in Canada, you live wherever you feel like you need to go. Leave. Don't come back. Don't even visit. We don't care to see you. We don't care to see you. Start your own Hollywood out there in those lands, right? Oh, George, are you kidding? She left because of the Diddy stuff? I have heard that some of these celebrities are really, really connected to this Diddy thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is why she's left. Because, I mean, honestly, to say you're leaving because President Trump won the presidency is insanity. But to leave to save yourself from going to prison for doing unlawful things with the Diddy stuff, yeah, I could get that. I could see that. You know, we're gonna have to pull her footage or pull some of these people's footage, all of those who are leaving. We should make a whole video about them. All the celebrities who are leaving and what is the connection to Diddy. I'm gonna put that in my notes. Oh, I have notes here. I also have notes here, and I say that if you're watching this stream later on, you can always comment, and you can also send a thank you via thank you tips if you like. So we're gonna write down Ellen DeGeneres, all celebrities that has fled America connected to Diddy. Boom. There we go. We're all ready. Just got to start pulling the content. Okay, so now let's get into the serious topics. So the first person I want to cover on this here is Fani Willis. Now, I have not covered Fani in some time. The last time I visited Georgia and the Fani Willis situation was when I covered her and her team of prosecutors who were covering this what is it? It's a RICO case, not President Trump's RICO, but the rapper Young Slime. That I covered that a couple of months ago, and I kind of put Fani Willis down, and because we did so much of her, because she's a content that keeps on giving. But I was like, you know what? I'm done with this black magic girl for a while. I'm putting down Fani Willis, and so we have. But we're gonna pick up Fani right between the cheeks once again. We're going to pick her up because she is making news. And one of the big news that she has made was that she won her re-election. Can you believe it, friends? And she won this thing by a landslide. So we had a young Republican lady who was running a gangster. Matter of fact, I did make a video about those two because I was so hoping she would take down Fani, but unfortunately, she couldn't get it done. So, so Fani won her re-election with 68% of the vote. After all of this nonsense, after, you know, her doing this thing and getting the mugshot of Donald Trump, like Fani Willis won re-election with 68% of the vote. I'm like, wow. So we're going to take a look at a clipping of her from a couple of months ago, and then we're going to take another clipping of her, well, of them explaining to us how her case is in jeopardy, that she may lose this thing, and then we're going to look at a Fox analysis on what we could be looking forward to, that this whole thing could just go away, just like Fani Willis. We could just make her disappear. Go away, Fani Willis. Go away.
District Attorney Fani Willis, fresh from her win against Republican challenger Courtney Kramer. She's also facing headwinds and controversy over her prosecution of President-elect Donald Trump, a scandal-filled romantic relationship with special prosecutor Nathan Wade, plus the plea deals in the trial of superstar rapper Young Thug.
She has certainly been busy, but we want to know what she hopes to accomplish in her upcoming second term and what happens to her criminal prosecution of President-elect Trump now. Political reporter Doug Reardon is live tonight for us outside the Fulton County Courthouse in downtown Atlanta. Doug, you spoke exclusively one-on-one with the DA right there in her office.
We did, and as you mentioned, we don't get this chance a whole lot. Willis grabbed 68% of the vote last Tuesday. That is a whopping margin of victory for her. And she said it's proof that it means most of Fulton County residents here are happy with the job she's doing. We did not get a direct answer from her on exactly what she plans to do with Donald Trump and these remaining criminal charges, but we did ask her the question. Here's what she told us.
I'm really proud of our first term.
Fulton County DA Fani Willis says some of the biggest accomplishments of her first term happened outside of the courtroom. Her team cleared a decade's worth of backlogged cases, 18,000 of them, some dating back to 2014. She started a pre-indictment diversion program that already has seen 300 people graduate with no jail time, and the DA's mentorship program is now working with 500 kids in 20 local schools. But a few criminal cases dominated the headlines in her first 4 years, none more so than her prosecution of Donald Trump and some of his allies for election crimes in Georgia.
I didn't indict anyone who I did not believe committed a crime in any case.
The future of Trump's case becomes murkier after Trump's re-election. A Supreme Court ruling earlier this year made it tougher to prosecute presidents for things they do on the job. Willis indicated she still plans to pursue charges against Trump.
If someone has an indictment in this office, no matter who they are, we continue to pursue those charges.
Emory University law professor John Osvaldo says because Trump can avoid prosecution in the White House, the DA may only have one choice.
In theory, Fani Willis could try the other defendants, wait 4 years, and then bring the case back against Donald Trump as soon as he leaves office.
It'll be hard to do, but there's nothing stopping Willis from doing it. She said as much on Wednesday.
And, you know, I'm here for 8 more years is my plan. And so if that's what it takes for us to get justice in some cases, we come to work every day. We'll come to work and look for justice.
And so also with her second term, Willis tells me today she wants to set up a resource center for domestic violence victims and also a separate domestic violence court with judges trained on exactly how to handle these types of sensitive cases. In downtown Atlanta, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
Thanks, Doug. Well, there you have Madame Fani Willis and her glory. So I'm just kind of wondering, with all of this and how she handled this whole thing, why isn't she being prosecuted? Why isn't there people coming for her? Why isn't? Oh, I know why. Because she's the Black Queen. Because she's, Fani Willis. She can do no wrong. This is who she is. And so we're gonna continue with Fani, and we're gonna take a clipping of her hearings and how the judges are not all on board. She may be sitting there waiting just like a spider for another 8 years to go back and try to take down President Trump. Can you imagine? So she's saying that, oh yeah, I'm going to be here for another 8 years. So obviously President Trump is going to be out in 4 years. So she will be there ready to prosecute after that? Like, really? That's how much your hatred goes for the man? You're going to let him go be president and then come back after he's president, after he's done, after he's done and saved this country, saved the world pretty much. You're going to sit there and do what? Try to throw him in jail? Hopefully the statutes of limitation would have gone through by then. Golly.
Like Donald Trump's Fulton County election interference case, it's on life support.
Today, an appeals court canceled some oral arguments in this case, and Atlanta News First anchor and attorney Joy Lim-Nakran lays out what all this means.
The Fulton County case against President-elect Donald Trump is now in limbo. The upcoming hearing on whether District Attorney Fani Willis could stay on the case has been canceled. And until that issue is decided, the entire case is on hold. The Georgia Court of Appeals ordered the December 5th hearing canceled until further notice. The State Court of Appeals will decide whether Ms. Willis should be disqualified due to alleged impropriety, including her admitted affair with the former special prosecutor Nathan Wade. Ms. Willis led the prosecution of Mr. Trump and his co-defendants for alleged election interference. It's still unclear why the hearing was put on hold, but there have been numerous developments since the start of the case, including a Supreme Court ruling that presidents have immunity from prosecution for official acts taken in office. Now, based on the Georgia Constitution, the appeals court would need to make a decision on this matter by the end of March in order for the case to move forward. Joy Lim-Nakran, Atlanta News First.
So Fani Willis, her case is falling apart, and you heard it there that she may not be able to do this. And so her case is falling apart, and it's really great to see, but I just can't believe that she would sit around and wait and prosecute after he is done with the second term. I mean, for me, that's just hateful, and it's the deep state. So now for what could possibly happen in the future, we're going to take a clipping from Fox and Friends. explaining to us, giving us the law on how this could actually go down in the next couple of weeks or so. Okay, here's our friends at Fox and Friends.
Donald Trump's legal battles are all but over following his historic election win, but there's one holdout still prosecuting President-elect, the President-elect embattled Fulton County DA Fani Willis. But sources tell the New York Post the state Supreme Court is getting ready to dismiss the case, throwing Willis's professional future into doubt. Former federal prosecutor Francie Hakes joins us now. Good morning, Francie. Thank you for joining us. From what I understand, obviously this is the last case with the state of Georgia here. What makes this? What makes people believe this case will be dropped?
Well, good morning, Joey. Right now, the case sits with the Georgia Court of Appeals. And just this week, they're supposed to have oral arguments on the defense's motion to have Fani Willis recused from the case for a variety of misconduct. And without any warning, without any apparent motion, and without any explanation, the Court of Appeals just removed, that is, canceled, that oral argument. And so there's speculation that they are getting ready to just rule based on the briefs instead of requiring oral argument. And if they're not requiring oral argument, they've probably made up their mind. And I'm guessing that the election has something to do with it.
Yeah, we all saw the riveting, we've televised it live here on Fox, the riveting case where Fani Willis's relationship with Nathan Wade was highlighted and showing where she might have, for lack of a better term, been exposed to malpractice in bringing these charges. So are we looking at a situation where she, as the prosecutor, is removed and thus the case goes away unless another prosecutor picks it up? Or is it the merits of the case itself could have it thrown out?
Well, Joey, if she gets recused, then the case simply gets removed from her office, because if she's conflicted out, her entire office is conflicted out. And then the case goes over to what's called the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia. And they have the ability to either assign the case to one of their lawyers, sort of roving prosecutors. In fact, we saw one of those prosecutors in action in the Lake and Riley case last week. She worked for the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia. So they could assign it to one of them, or they could assign it out to a different elected DA. And the case would effectively start from zero, because no prosecutor is going to want to come in and simply start where Fani Willis left off. They're all going to go to the beginning. And I suspect they'll all reach the same conclusion. There was no violation of law here, and this case should never have been brought.
Yeah, that seems to be what most people think. I hope so. This lawfare has to end, and our president needs to be able to govern. Francie Hakes, thanks for joining us.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
Well, so there you go. I'm hoping this thing goes away. Fani Willis goes away, and we can have a Merry Christmas, and we can start this new administration without any, cases. Jack Smith has let it go. Even though Alvin Bragg in New York was trying to do the same thing, or Fani Willis is trying to do the same thing he's doing. So I think he's going to be sitting there just like a spider, just like old Fani, just sitting around waiting for President Trump's term to be over 4 years from now, so that they can do what? Bring on more charges. And speaking of Alvin Bragg, this was not on my to-do list to talk about today, but I do plan on having a stream in reference to that. But being that we're talking about him, I have to mention what's happening in New York City right now with him. The city is falling apart with the crime that's rampant. His own staff member was recently attacked by an illegal person, and because they are not prosecuting, they are not locking up people, they're letting criminals run, illegal criminals. I mean, New York City has its own homemade criminals, but I'm talking about illegal criminals who's come in and are doing these crimes, but yet all he wants to do is to persecute President Donald J. Trump. And by the way, just like Fani Willis, it seems like he has also won re-election with great numbers. I mean, what is it going to take to get these people out of office? Like, I just don't understand. The American people came through and putting President Trump back in, and we won the House, we won the Senate, we won the Oval, all of that. But yet, when we're looking at these liberal cities, these people are still getting in. How is it that Fani Willis has gotten in 68% of the vote? How is it that Alvin Bragg has gotten in the way New York City is looking right now? How is it? How is it? I don't understand. But I'll give you this quickly. I picked up on this from one of the OAN news reporters, Chanel Rayon. Thank you, Chanel. That our friend Andrew Cuomo, right, might be running for mayor, giving our friend, what's his name? I can't think of his name. The current mayor of New York, giving him some challenge. Cuomo used to be the governor, so he probably can pull in the numbers to pull out our, I think of his name, to pull him out currently. So that would be interesting, being that he's under indictment. He's talked all this smack about the Biden administration, dropping off all the illegals and all of that. And so he just might have an issue with that. So Andrew Cuomo might be coming to take your job, friend, mayor of New York City. So we're going to take a quick break, and I will be right back. Christmas great again. But first, we want to say thank you to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without him, there would be no season. So he is the reason for the season. And we want to say thank you for a great gift that he has poured upon us. And that gift, my friends, is our president, Donald J. Trump, who is going to make Christmas great again. We have Christmas wrapping paper. We have candles, puzzles for the children, t-shirts, mugs, blankets and fleeces, so many different things, ornaments. Yes, we are making Christmas great again. We say thank you to Donald J. Trump. Go to theorlandopatriot.com, get 30% off your purchase price. See you there. Merry Christmas. God bless you. Merry Christmas. All right. Merry Christmas to you guys. God bless you. The season is upon us. It's one of my favorites. And, I was actually thinking this morning about Christmas and what it means. And it really is celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. Even though nobody really knows when Jesus was really born, we don't have these things, but Christmas is just a celebration of knowing that he was born. So, for me, it's celebrating his birth and the gift of salvation. And so, yes, he is the he is the reason for the season. And it may not be all about Santa Claus and, getting gifts, but it's more maybe about recognizing the gift that we have gotten and really embracing that and enjoying that. And in return, showing our love to others, family members, and so on, our appreciation. And so we take them as a gift as well as the gift that we've been received from Jesus Christ. So, yes, so Christmas is definitely a holiday that I love. And I want to say happy holidays to you all and Merry Christmas. So we're going to continue now with Hunter Biden. Where's Hunter? Let's go to Fox, and Fox is going to give us a little breakdown in reference to what's happening with this whole Hunter Biden craziness. Let's go to Fox.
Hunter, off the hook for everything. Reporters just grilled White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre in an off-camera gaggle on Air Force One about the president's decision to pardon his son. Now, Hunter was scheduled to be sentenced this month. It was December 12th on federal gun and tax charges, and the sweeping pardon spares him a possible prison sentence. a complete reversal by the President of the United States.
Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no. The president's been very clear when we've been asked this question.
Is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well, is there?
I just said no. The president's not going to pardon his son. It's no. It's still no.
Will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
They were categorical, they were emphatic. And now Karine Jean-Pierre is denying that those statements were lies.
I wanted to ask you, could those statements now be seen as lies from the American people? Is there really a credibility issue here given now this announcement?
First of all, one of the things that the president always believes is to be truthful to the American people. That is something that he always truly believes. He came to this decision this weekend, so let's be very clear about that. He says it himself.
How soon could the next round of, pardons could come?
I don't have a timeline for you. As you know, this usually happens towards the end, and so the president is going through that process. I'm not going to get ahead of him, but you can expect more announcements to come.
Yo, Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary, the affirmative action in action.
And she doubled down on Biden's claim that Hunter was singled out.
They targeted him because his last name was Biden.
So I have some notes that I had on there that I wanted to cover. So let's just talk Karine Jean-Pierre for a second. So if you've watched this channel, I am used to doing Karine Jean-Pierre. Like, I put on her wig. I got a wig. I got a Karine Jean-Pierre wig. This ain't it. This is crochet, friends. This ain't it. So I would put it on and I would be Karine Jean-Pierre. You guys have seen the channel. You've seen my parody skits of Karine Jean-Pierre. I would be so disgusted by her that it would be damn near impossible to get through the skits of watching her to even portray the parody, because she is so, I just can't watch her. I can't watch her. I can't listen to the lies. I just can't do it. And even now, when there's clippings, you just saw the clippings, they play them for her. Karine Jean-Pierre, this is what you said. Now we're in a different moment. You could humble yourself and say, look, you know what, America, we understand we did say this, but unfortunately, Joe Biden loves his son. He wants to do better for his son. He doesn't want his son to end up, going to prison. And so therefore we would, we apologize for lying to you. Yes, it actually is technically a lie. We apologize for lying to you, the American people, but this is what it's going to be. We recognize what we've said. We hear it. We hear your frustration with us, but President Joe Biden is going to pardon his son because he doesn't want his son to go to prison. Like, why don't you come out here and say that? I'd be like, okay, I get it. I wouldn't want my son to go to jail. If I had the power to pardon my son, sure, I couldn't care less what you thought. I would do it because that's my son. How about you just say that to the American people instead of lying? Just say it. Be honest. And this is part of the reason these people have lost this election this way. This is part of the reason. It's because they are not truthful about anything. Karine Jean-Pierre, this whole time, about Biden and his situation, his mental decline. Every day she comes out here to talk about, no, the president is in good mind. He's very good. He's good mindset. Oh, he's healthy. Yes, the doctors say he's doing well. He's well. And we all are watching it and we see he's falling apart. But yet every day she comes out here and lie about his health, for years and years and years, about the mental decline. These are the things. They are not honest. just not honest. And our friend Jake Ducey would pose the questions over and over again, giving her a chance to be truthful. And all she does is spin it and spin it and spin it and spin it. They should just call her the spinster. The spinner? The spinner? She's the spinner.
Here's the problem, Charles Payne. So he's a victim of injustice by the Department of Injustice. Okay, problem here, the facts. August 11th, 2023. Let's pull it up. This was the DOJ press release. 2023, you'll remember, guess who was president? His name was Joe Biden. This happened. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced today the appointment of U.S. Attorney David Weiss to serve as special counsel for the ongoing investigation and prosecutions referenced and described in United States v. Hunter Biden. So Biden's DOJ with Biden's handpicked attorney general selectively prosecuted Biden's son.
Yeah. But I also think, you know, looking at the executive grant of clemency here, this is what I think the real deal is, right? So he's pardoned from a period that begins January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024. Mm-hmm. It's not the cases he's been found guilty on. It's the cases that he was never brought to trial on. The other things that we know or we feel in our hearts are a lot more egregious, a lot more offensive, and maybe even crimes against the United States. This is a preventive measure. I mean, you look at the folks that are going to be in these jobs in 2 months. They're going to go back. They were going to go back and look at this on behalf of the American public. After all, the accusations of influence peddling is huge.
Yeah.
This protects Hunter Biden from, in my mind, true justice. And it's a true travesty against everybody in this country, no matter what political party you're in.
So, yes, indeed, it is a travesty. See my notes here. I really, really believe that Hunter Biden has committed treason against this country. He has committed treason against this country, and therefore, let's do that. And therefore, he needs to pay for this. But they have gone back all the way to 2014 and to now 2024 that you cannot prosecute him. You cannot do anything to him. Anything that happened within that time frame is off the table. Like, what? You can't even bring up the fact that he was making millions in foreign countries. In China, he was getting gifts and money. All of this stuff, you can't bring that up because his father has put this blanket over what he can, what kind of laws that he can be charged with. This is crazy. And I really wonder, could Joe Biden be protecting himself within this too? Could he be protecting himself? Because again, he was named as the big guy getting 10%. So does this mean he's gonna put this blanket over his son where therefore his son can, interact with these conversations about what he did between this time and therefore not incriminate him, the big guy, in all of this? So it's kind of interesting to think about. It really is. So, yeah.
It is a travesty. If you really think about this, Melania Trump has her closet raided by Merrick Garland's DOJ, and then Biden's White House pardons his son. People see the disparity. But what bothers me most here, and I want to pull up her picture, are the innocent Americans that have been prosecuted, and you could say tortured by the Biden DOJ, one of whom is Paulette Harlow, 76 years old, convicted in a court of law, 2-year prison sentence. She has medical ailments. She stood in front of a pro-life clinic with 9 others peacefully, and she's prosecuted under a little U statute. She's currently at Alexandria Detention Center. But Harris Faulkner, she gets no pardon.
So are we shocked that the president's son is getting special treatment? Are we?
No, Harris, we're not shocked because this is what they are doing. they live a different life than we, right? I mean, these people were they're literally rounding up people who are at abortion doors trying to save people, and the thing is, they're trying to save two souls, the mother and the baby, because when an abortion happens, it's two souls that's really ruined. So they're trying to save people. That is love to me. But no, they throw these people in prison. But people like Hunter Biden, who has sold America to foreign countries to get rich and stay rich as he smokes his crack, these people get to go free. They get to go free. Hunter Biden gets to go free. They bypass the laws and they get to go free, right? While Americans are hunted down like criminals, but the real criminals are living it up. They're living the dream. They're living it up in their fancy houses and their fancy cars, living the dream, while people who are trying to do good in the society, like advocating for life, like advocating for children at the school board, these people are being roped up and put in jail. I mean, it's preposterous. It's insanity. Absolute madness. So, friends, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the other side. We're going to go to CNN, MSNBC. We're going to go to CNN. So we're going to take them talking about this. And I have two clippings. They're very long, actually, guys. I didn't get the chance to really cut these two up to just make it, like a 3-minute or 5-minute. So I'm hoping we can get through this one. So this one is MSNBC talking about, they have a panel. And they're talking about Joe Biden and how all of this is going. And they are actually throwing old Joe Biden under the bus. And they are saying, Joe, I think you made a mistake, friend. So at least they're talking about it. At least they're saying something. So here is MSNBC to talk about what's happening with old Joe.
Justice Department has been politicized. That's the message this morning from not just Donald Trump, but from President Joe Biden himself. The president issuing a full and unconditional pardon to his son Hunter after repeatedly insisting in public that he wouldn't do it. And to defend his decision, the president adopted an argument that could have come straight out of Donald Trump's playbook. Blame your political opponents and claim unfair persecution.
Before she goes on, I just love the way she flips it, the way she starts the segment. Oh, yeah, he's being politically persecuted. My son is being politically persecuted, just like Donald Trump. But this is your DOJ. This is your FBI. This is your cops. This is your CIA. This is all you. But your son is being persecuted. How does that make sense for me? But this reporter, it's again the way she frames it and she presents it out there as if, this is not really a bad thing that Hunter Biden did. No, he is being politically persecuted. And again, it's the way they twist things that really irks my nerves.
President Biden said this, quote, "The charges in his cases came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election." The president adding, quote, "No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son. And that is wrong." And
it wasn't because he sold out the country. It wasn't because he got rich. It wasn't because he was smoking crack with hookers. It wasn't because he was allegedly human trafficking those hookers. I don't know. No, it's because they had a political vendetta against Daddy Biden. And that is why. That is why. There's no other reason. There's no other reason that they would go for Hunter, go after Hunter. It's not because he was doing all of these things. No, it's just because he's the child of the president. That's why. I've lost our spot. All right. That's why I don't like stopping this and talking in the middle.
And Americans might, though they'll have to be forgiven for thinking that all of this was off the table.
Is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well, is there,
I just said no. I just answered.
When would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
You've said before that the president would not pardon his son. Is that still the case?
Nothing has changed. That is still the case.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes. I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
I could speak for the president, and he said he would not pardon his son.
Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
Well, it stood until last night. Joining us now, Saleha Mohsen, senior Washington correspondent for Bloomberg, Isaac Dever, CNN senior reporter, Megan Hayes, former director of message planning for the Biden White House, and Brad Todd, Republican strategist and CNN political commentator. Welcome to all of you. Megan Hayes, look, you know, many of our viewers have gotten to know you, but you really do know this family. You worked inside this White House for a very long time. Can you help us understand how they got to this decision? Because I have to say, I've talked to some people who thought the president wouldn't get there because he was concerned about his legacy. Obviously, something really changed.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I didn't actually think he'd get there till much later in the last couple months of his term. But I do think with some of the nominations that Trump has put up, I think it probably caused a little bit of worry for him. But also, I think people have to remember the president has lost 2 children already, and he does not need to lose another one to more political, witch hunts that the president's calling them. He worries about Hunter going to jail. There's a lot of things wrapped up in this, but I think at the end of the day, the president made a decision as a father to keep his son out of jail and out of harm's way moving forward.
Just to pick up on something you said at the top of your answer, you think the selection, for example, of Kash Patel played into this decision?
I think that some of these nominations that Trump has been putting forward and leaving this in the hands of other folks, I think is worrisome to the president. I mean, President Trump and Kash Patel have said they are going to go after their political enemies. They're going after retribution. I think that Hunter Biden has been seen as the person that they've gone after many times. And I don't think the president's going to leave that to chance when he leaves office. He, again, does not want to lose another son. He has lost 2 children already, and he does not want this to go on any further once he leaves office.
Y'all, I have to say that this lady, she's starting to annoy me because I've been seeing her a lot lately, and her takes for me is just not there. So again, she throws in there, well, the president's lost 2 sons and he can't afford to lose another son. So he's going to do whatever it takes to make sure he protects his son. Because he's lost 2 sons already. He's lost 2 children. He's lost them, and he needs to protect his son. He needs to protect his sons. I'm just saying. I know she has a stuttering problem, but you're going to play her. You're going to have to play her the right way. So here she is, a person who does know the Bidens and know this family. And this is, so yeah, the president is afraid of his, what does she say? His political enemies going after his son. So his son is a criminal who has betrayed this country, and therefore it should not just be thrown under the rug because he's the president's son. No one is above the law, as they've like to say. They always saying nobody's above the law, nobody's above the law, right? Nobody's above the law. So then Joe Biden and his son should have to come to justice for what they've done. Simple.
Isaac Dever, what's your reporting kind of behind the scenes on, how this came to be, but also, I mean, we have seen some Democratic reaction already criticizing the president for this. I mean, we saw a tweet from the Colorado governor, a Democrat, Jared Polis, saying it's bad precedent that could be abused. by later presidents. Congressman Greg Stanton said, I respect President Biden, but I think he got this one wrong. And then Joe Walsh, who is a former congressman, Republican congressman who's become a Trump critic, he was on MSNBC. He put it this way. Let's play it because it's kind of a succinct way to look at it. Take a look.
So the next time any of us complain about anything Trump does, this pardon is just deflating. Nobody's above the law, we've been screaming. Well, Joe Biden just made clear his son Hunter is above the law. Donald Trump lies every time he opens his mouth, we've been screaming. Joe Biden repeatedly lied about this. The politicization of the justice system. Donald Trump and his people have been screaming. Well, that's exactly what Biden said here.
Does he have a point? And what are you hearing from other Democrats?
This is the kind of thing that does breed cynicism in people. And it's that cynicism that in part Donald Trump plays off of in making the moves that he does when he says, look, it's all rigged against everybody. The Justice Department is politicized, right? And now Joe Biden has said that. His Justice Department under his administration was what was pursuing these cases, was what had gotten the guilty verdict in the gun case, and we were waiting for the sentencing in this tax case. That's an issue for Joe Biden to face now when he has put himself forward not just as an opposition to Trump, but as someone who is standing on principle and on norms and on keeping in that way. I do think, though, it's important we can hold multiple thoughts in our heads at the same time, right? That Donald Trump will perhaps use this, and certainly allies will use this as justification or something to point to when he does things, whether it's pardoning people who were involved in the January 6th riot or other things. But it's not like Donald Trump wasn't going to do some of those things anyway, right? And so, but it does muddy all the waters of people who wanted to see Biden, if nothing else, as somebody who was standing up for all of these ideals that he was talking about for the last bunch of years.
Yeah, fair. Although we should also acknowledge, Saleha, that this is not the first president to pardon someone who he is related to in some way, including, I mean, with Donald Trump, it was an in-law. But someone in his family nonetheless.
An in-law, Charles Kushner, Jared's father, who he has just nominated to be his ambassador to France. I would have to agree that there is a little bit of a precedent being set that now when Democrats are sort of trying to figure out where do they go from here after having lost so badly in the presidential elections and down ballot races, they're trying to rebuild the party and they're left with an aged president leaving, former head of the Democratic Party after being president, and now he's done this. It's going to be really hard in the next 2 years as Democrats are trying to position themselves heading into midterms to also serve as bulwarks against some of Trump's plans, especially now that we've heard about his FBI nomination.
So I'm going to jump in right here. I think she makes a valid point because heading into these midterms, these Democrats just lost big, right? They just lost big. They lost big. And so when we go into the midterms, they're going to try to go all in. And so with Joe Biden doing one more thing like this, that is just not good confidence in these Democrats. This is like the last power that they have right now. They should really be doing good things for the American people and trying to make up for, their lack of, not being able to do stuff. So with Joe Biden leaving and, doing things like this is not adding confidence into the party, into the Democrat Party. That's not adding confidence. That's even lowering the bar even more, because what we just got out of Kamala Harris and what's happened with her and the way that she ran this horrific, unprecedented campaign of $1 billion plus and then being in debt, this is not, again, showing that the Democrats have great leadership, that they know what they're doing. They don't. And then for you to pardon your son who is criminal, and that we have footage, we know these things, your DOJ had to investigate him. And they ended up with this, the little gun charge thing. But there's so much more that he's not being charged for. And then you put this blanket on top of it that says that he can't be touched from 2014 until, between 2014 and 2024. That's saying again to the American people, yeah, we are above the law. We can do what we want. And to hell with what you think and to hell with you. We're going to do what we need to do. We're going to get rich in the process. And this is what it's going to be. So I absolutely agree with this woman that going into the midterms, this might be another opportunity for Republicans to really showcase their failures, showcase these things so we can start removing these people like we talked about, like these Alvin Braggs, like these Fani Willises, pull these people out of these roles, because again, it's a failure. They are symptoms of the decay that is the Democrat Party. All right, we're going to put them back up.
Todd, you and I have we saw each other on Sunday. We were talking about kind of the ways in which, Republicans obviously feel like the Department of Justice has been weaponized against them in political ways. Do you buy? I mean, Joe Biden is basically saying, look, he would never have been prosecuted if he wasn't my son, and that this is political as well. Do you buy that?
There's no question. A lot of Justice Department prosecutions are a result of the fact that the DOJ decides they can get press out of them. They are sensitive to media pressure. They're sensitive to political pressure. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are now saying the same thing. And I think that makes the case for why the DOJ has to be cleaned up. New ethos of operation has to happen there. But I think one thing about this pardon that's striking to me is that it's not for the gun and the tax charge. This is for everything he did in the last 11 years. Coincidentally, that's when he went on the board of Burisma, the Ukrainian gas company. I think that there's going to be a lot more investigation into what Hunter Biden's dealings were with Burisma. And now that he's been pardoned, he doesn't need the Fifth Amendment. He can tell us everything. He can tell us everything about his co-conspirators. He can tell us everything about other people who did business with him. A lot more is now on the table. And so I think Joe Biden, in overreaching here with an 11-year pardon, he may have opened more fodder for investigation from the House.
But that's the point. In the mind of the president, it seems that there was this fear that there would be vindictive retribution, prosecutions of Hunter Biden under a Trump-run Justice Department. And look, it is definitely the case that some of the attention to Hunter Biden is because of Joe Biden. I remember still being in South Carolina the day after the South Carolina primary that Joe Biden won in 2020 when he turned his campaign around, and all of a sudden Senator Ron Johnson was asking for information about Burisma. So, but that's the way it goes. It's also the case that Hunter Biden clearly over the course of his career benefited from being Joe Biden's son.
Just watch. More people will be pardoned by this administration who dealt with Hunter Biden.
So, yeah, he brings up a good point that because Joe Biden has put this blanket over from 2014 until 2024, that that people are going to say, you know what, that's odd. And they're going to start to dig into that. So somebody like Kash Patel, the new FBI director, he might say, you know what, I'm curious as to why is this? And so they could go deeper. And then the Pam Bondi, the new AG, well, again, soon to be, she could say, you know what, let's dig more into this, and they could probably find out a whole lot of things. So they may not be able to get Hunter Biden, but maybe they can get the co-conspirators of all of this, including maybe the big guy. Oh, and I know old Joe is too old and nobody's gonna prosecute Joe Biden because he's too old, right? Oh, he's just, leave him alone, let him retire at the beach, he's done for, leave him alone. He's gonna walk into the forest in Brazil, leave him alone. But we need to know what happened. We need to know the roles that were played, who played these roles. He may be old, Yes, now, but when he was in the mix of these things, he wasn't so old and he wasn't as senile. They were money hungry. And that's what they were doing. They were getting rich off of the American people. And this is who they are. And so now they're going to leave, a healthy wealth for their children and their families off of the backs of Americans. They are laundering money from and through, and it's returning back to them. That's a crime, and that should be looked at, even if you are old and senile. So next we're going to look at another one from MSNBC. No, this is CNN, right? CNN. And there's going to be a heated debate between our good, strong conservative and one of the leftist women, liberal. And in this one, you're going to see that they have nothing to say in reference to the hypocrisy that goes on with these things. It's good for we, but not for thee. And so it's going to be painfully obvious that, some of these commentators or professionals or whatever you want to call them, they are really truly biased. And therefore, when they are confronted with the actual truth and facts, they revert into just talking points. So we're going to do another MSNBC.
Over the Hunter Biden pardon has been swift. Republican lawmakers quick to criticize President Biden over this. Some Democrats also speaking out about the bad precedent that they fear that this sets. The incoming chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Republican Chuck Grassley, weighing in with this, saying, "I'm shocked that President Biden pardoned his son Hunter because he said many, many times he wouldn't. And I believed him. Shame on me." CNN's Lauren Fox tracking the reaction in Washington for us. And there's a lot that we've already heard and likely a lot more to come, Lauren.
Yeah, lawmakers expected back in Washington this evening. We can expect that a lot of Republicans are going to be lashing out after this news broke late last night. But there are a number of Republicans who are making the argument that Joe Biden had said one thing and then done another. Now, there were also Republicans in the House who had worked on that impeachment probe, someone like Representative Jim Jordan, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, who said if there was nothing to their probe, why is Hunter Biden being pardoned now? Obviously, these were different issues, but it's important to point out that the Republican backlash has been swift. Here's another Republican Senator, Ron Johnson, who said, just confirming that under Democratic governance, there truly is a dual system of justice, one that protects Democrats and another weaponized against their political opponent. But it's not just Republicans, Kate, that have criticized Biden. You are also hearing from a small number of Democrats, including Representative Greg Stanton from Arizona, saying, quote, "I respect President Biden, but I think he got this one wrong." He also goes on to say if this wasn't politically motivated, pro-Hunter committed felonies and was convicted by a jury of his peers. Kate?
Lauren, thank you so much for that. John?
All right, with us now, CNN political commentator Karine Fani and CNN senior political commentator Scott Jennings. So, Karine, you just heard Democrat Greg Stanton, Democratic governor of Colorado Jared Polis. There are Democrats saying they're not happy that President Biden made this decision.
Yeah, well, tough. The president went ahead and did what he thought was right for him and to protect his son. And I think there are going to be Democrats who, from a political perspective, are going to feel like they may have to say something, but who probably on the inside understand why President Biden went ahead and did this. And I got to tell you, crowing from Republicans, and I know my dear friend Scott will have plenty to say about this, but we're talking about, Donald Trump is a convicted felon who literally had pardoned his daughter's father-in-law and just made him ambassador to France. So if we're going to talk about, who's using what system in what fashion, let's put it all on the table and let's be honest about the fact that Donald Trump doesn't really have a leg to stand on in this one.
So I just want to talk to my girl right here. So she says, tough. And if you don't like it, tough. And you can, and then she said they're crowing about it. The American people, I'm gonna make myself big for this one. The American people have put trust in this president, Joe Biden, to do what's best for the country and the people. We understand that he's a father, right? But you're a father with a son that is a criminal, a crackhead, who abuses women, who took his own brother's wife. I mean, these are the kinds of people that we're talking about. Where did the president go wrong with his son? What's his name? Hunter. Because if Hunter Biden can get away with these things, when we look at Donald Trump's children, who has been, by the way, not criminals, not crackheads, not any of these things that old Hunter is, anything that these kids do, and they do great things, but they get criticized up, right, and center. Can you imagine if Don Jr., right, was in trouble like this, and Donald Trump were to do this for his son? Man, the world would be on fire. If Don Jr. had committed treason against the country, if Don Jr. went and got rich off of our adversaries, foreigners, China, all of these, Ukraine, right? It'd be horrific. But as she says, y'all just go eat crow. Eat crow, because the president is saving his son.
So, Scott Jennings, what about that? Steve Bannon, Charles Kushner, Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, and Charles Kushner not just pardoned, but also apparently about to be nominated ambassador to France.
Joe Biden is leaving office making the strongest possible case for Donald Trump that anybody could possibly make it, and that's that our government and our justice system is of, by, and for the elites and nobody else. He ran to banish Trumpism from our political system in this country, and he has left it politically and now institutionally the strongest possible political force in this country. It is a complete and utter failure by the head of the Democratic Party and the President of the United States. Never again do I want to hear, oh, Donald Trump's a liar. You can't believe anything he says. Donald Trump will abuse his power. Donald Trump will only use the system to benefit himself and his family and so on and so forth. Never again. I have one question for Karen, and that is, why did he need an 11-year blanket pardon going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president? We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes, and Joe Biden amazingly knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden.
Before he does, well, let's address Karen real quick, because let me put her back up. Because she, look at her smirk, right? She had that nervous laugh. Yeah, like she knows the truth, she hears it, but she still has to like pretend, you know, like it's so hypocritical and so fake. That's the word. You're a fake, Karen. You're a fake. Your fake smile and your fake laugh and your fake comeback. Let's play it.
Let me give some context to what Scott is saying just there, Karen, before you address it. Because this pardon, I do not believe we have mentioned it, not just granting clemency for the crimes for which Hunter Biden was convicted of illegally purchasing a gun of tax evasion, but also a blanket pardon for any federal crimes that may have been committed basically between 2014 and 2024. So what about that literal get out of jail free card for a 10-year period, Karen?
Well, look, literally, the president recognizes that Republicans have been for years now trying to attack the president himself, go after his family. And when you have someone who literally ran their campaign on retribution, on the idea of I will be your retribution and getting back at his enemies, I would imagine, obviously I haven't spoken to the president about this, but I would imagine the president took a look at this and said, I want to make sure this is ironclad, that there is nothing that can be done to circumvent what I'm going to do to protect my son and to try to take the target off of his back once and for all. So that's my reading of it. But again, I think that the hypocrisy here, it is astounding. I mean, Donald Trump has said and done things, said things and done other things. And again, he's a convicted felon himself. He has used his power to benefit his friends, his wealthy allies. In this instance, we're talking about a man who decided to take care of his son after years of unrelenting attacks. I don't blame him.
Scott, did you have the same concerns over a justice system for the elite, as you put it before, when it was Donald Trump pardoning Steve Bannon, Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, Charlie Kushner? Same concern then?
Listen, you guys can spend all day long trying to spin this, that this.
Before our friend comes on, he is absolutely right. The way he just framed the question, and even the look at the sourness on his face. Like, we don't know. So even with that, look at their faces, right? They are trying to spin this into something else. They are, it's brilliant the way they do it. And it really annoys me, as I said. They just kind of go around things and they try to, it's a spin. It's a spin. There's no other way to call it. And this is what they do, and I can't stand it. And he's going to call him out for it right now. Let's get him, Scott. Get him.
This is Donald Trump's fault, that this is somehow caused by Donald Trump. Oh, he's appointing the wrong people. Oh, he did it. Oh, this is the worst possible thing a president could possibly do to his party and to the country, to sit for a year and say, I will not do this. I will not do this. The rule of law is sacred. We have to respect the justice system. Juries, we have to respect juries. We have to respect the guardrails and the norms of our democracy. These people are liars. Inflation, it's transitory. Afghanistan, it's a success. The border is secure. Robert Hur is a liar. The videos are cheap fakes. Biden has a cold. He'll never drop out. Oh, I'll never pardon Hunter. It's all a lie. It is all a grift. Every American, except the most partisan, brain-rotted people, are going to be outraged by this today. He is going to leave off. You think 39% job approval is bad? Just you wait. Just you wait. He's disgraced.
Scott,
disgraced today. Outrageous.
You don't need to, but Scott, you don't need to hurl.
Shut up. Shut up. You're a disgrace. Do we really want to hear what she has to say? All right, we'll hear her. Only because this makes the point of how desperate she becomes in this debate, because she got nothing else. Because he just called them all out. He just laid out facts of their lies. But all she's got is, don't call me names.
names and could say people like me are brain rotted. Come on, that's a little beyond the pale, even for you, Scott.
Listen,
I
I
disagree. We can
Stand up for
disagree
yourself.
about
You don't
this,
have
but
to
we don't
defend
have
this.
to call
He's
each other
leaving
names.
office. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to die on this hill. You can say this is wrong because
I'm
everybody
fine with
knows
it,
that it
Scott.
is.
That's why I'm
It's
defending
wrong.
it.
Are you
Karen?
fine with the lying? Are you
I say
fine
good
with
for
him
Joe
sitting
Biden.
before the election all year and lying to the American people? Are you fine with the lying about it?
I don't think that he was lying. I think he made a decision after the fact and decided this was the right thing for him and for his family. Period. Full stop.
John,
Donald
do
Trump
we not
decided
have
that
the
it
minutes?
was okay to
And
pardon.
Joe Biden, Karine Jean-Pierre, how many minutes of tape do we have of both of these people telling the American people this will not happen? It's I mean, we could play it all morning. It's a lie, and it's a lie to benefit his own family, and that's
fine,
all
but
that it
let's
is.
just-
And everybody who
let's
went on
just-
TV and said, oh, look how he's the
calling us
modern George Washington. He's drained every ounce of credibility from every surrogate. If Karine Jean-Pierre had an ounce of self-respect, she'd get off the plane in Africa today where they're going so he can avoid the press and resign. He's drained all of her credibility, and everybody else who's defended this, it's draining for them forever.
Well, and Karen, to be fair, we did Joe Biden. We did play that sound earlier. Did flat out say on multiple occasions, and the press secretary did, that he would not pardon Hunter Biden.
He sure did. And I will tell you that he probably heard from a lot of people who said, you know what, sir, go ahead and do it. You should go ahead and protect your son, because who knows what Trump and Trump's Department of Justice will do when they say that their number one goal is retribution. How could you not take the opportunity to say, you know what, this is one thing that I can do for my child. This is one thing I can do to help get the target off of his back. I also, by the way, this is politics. And again, if we're going to, go down and compare list to list, it's not going to look very good for Donald Trump either. And I just don't have a problem with Joe Biden doing this at all.
All right.
Good for
Karen
him.
Karen Finney.
Oh, Karen Finney, she is a mess. But friends, I tell you, while that was playing, I was thinking to myself, what kind of a father, Joe Biden, wouldn't you want your son to do the right thing? If, son, you did this, and that's probably why Hunter Biden is the way he is because he's never had to take responsibility for anything. He's never had to take responsibility because they coddle him. He is a rich child. He's never had to work hard for anything. He's never had to do anything. And so now, when he has done really, really bad things in his life, one of them betraying the country, your president father fixes it. So you don't have to take responsibility for what you've done. And you know what else I want to throw in here? Because Hunter Biden has no self-esteem, he is a shallow shell of a human being, a person, because again, he's never had to stand on his own too as a man. He's never actually been a man. And so therefore, he has these traits. And so he runs to drugs. He runs to these things that is not good for him because he's never had to stand up on his own too. And even now, I feel like his father is doing him a disservice because this could be the opportunity for him to kick crack once and for all, because you have to go into your person and find out your weaknesses and find out where you failed and find out what caused these things that makes you an addict. He has no opportunity to do that now because Biden has literally protected him from answering for his mistakes or his crimes. He's not taking responsibility. And I'll bet you he will continue to be on drugs, continue to be spinning out of control, because again, there's so much hurt and pain inside of him. And again, he hates himself. He hates himself for what he's done. And now he has no way to stand up and say, I did these things. I'm guilty. Even if he goes to jail, you know, the rich prison jails, you know, the country club jail, at least he would face up to his responsibilities, to face up to the things that he's done. So I say Joe Biden has really been a fail of a father to his son, Hunter Biden. So friends, thank you for taking the time and spending this hour with me. Thank you for whoever's still here. I got 3 people. I say thank you for stopping by. George Kerr, thank you very much again for being with me today. Really, really motivates me. Thank you, George. And thank you for commenting. It really does help with the algorithm. And for those people who's going to catch this stream later on, hopefully they will also comment, share, like, and so on. So it's been a great discussion today in reference to what we've covered. We had a great parody from the past. We covered the, what's her face? Fani Willis and her drama and this Hunter Biden situation. And so I'm glad that you were able to stop by today. Thank you very much. I am preparing to maybe do another live stream tomorrow. I may be traveling, still iffy there. So we'll see how things go. If not, then I will definitely be dropping some sort of video within this time frame. So thank you very much for taking the time again. You guys have a blessed day. God bless you and keep you. And I'm going to send you off with my subscription video, and that way you can see pictures and clips of me on the ground doing the work. And so if you join the subscription, that's what you'll get, pictures of me doing the political rallies, conferences, meeting all the people that we actually talk about here on the program sometimes. So sometimes I do get to meet some great people like Tucker Carlson. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to play that for you. And I'm going to say God bless and keep you and have a good day. And don't forget to check out the OrlandoPatriot.com. Merry Christmas. Pick up somebody a present. Pick up something that's going to trigger some liberals. Whatever. There's plenty in there to do that. Thank you very much. And you have a great day.